As former deputy assistant for President Trump, Dr. Sebastian Gorka. Dr. Gorka, what do you think about that?
Very disappointing. You can be a hero, but you can also know what you're not. You can also not know what you're talking about. John McCain hasn't seen a war he didn't like in the last 20 years, and that's not who the president is. The president believes that it's America first, and the idea that you just criticize him from the sidelines. This is a man who doesn't want to be interventionist. He uses force where it's necessary. For example, with those cruise missile strikes in Syria, with that 21,000-pound bomb in Afghanistan. But to say that we need more of the kinds of things we saw in the last 16 years, Senator McCain, no, we don't.
Let me ask you, because you've been down in Washington a lot over the last year, what do you make of this civil war that Steve Bannon has started against the Republican establishment? Because yesterday we saw the president out with Mitch McConnell. They were all buddy-buddy. The president needs Mitch this week because he's got to get that budget thing through or there's no taxes.
I gave a speech at the weekend for Family Research Council where I said very plainly, what has the establishment GOP done for this president in the last 9 months? And that's a very short list. This president came on an agenda. November the 8th was a clear message to the rhino establishment that you can't get elected on an agenda, come to D.C., and then renege on it, and then not come through with all the things you promised. So it's time to rattle those cages a little bit. I think Mitch McConnell's cage was rattled, and it's about time, because this president was the outsider. He wasn't part of the GOP establishment, and there's a reason a man who never held public office is now the president of the United States.
Is there something happening behind the scenes? Because it just seems odd to me that you have Steve Bannon that left the White House, and he has this agenda to try to do things on the outside that he couldn't do on the inside. But then you have the president in the Rose Garden with Mitch McConnell, and they had said some negative things about one another, and now they're buddy-buddy. Like, what's really happening?
The president is the master of the deal, right? So he's going to work with people who he thinks he can work with at the current time. But remember, the president's platform was make America great again, not make the GOP great again. And he'll work with anybody. If you don't want to work with him, GOP, remember that dinner with Chuck and Nancy? That's a message, right? That's a broadside to the GOP. I got to get things done. You don't want to help me? I'll talk to somebody else.
And in fact, the last time that the president came face-to-face with Mitch McConnell was the day after he did the deal with Chuck and Nancy, and Mitch McConnell and Paul Ryan were like, he what? Are you kidding me?
Exactly. This is a guy who breaks the molds. You can't judge this president by prior political trends or categories, because he's here to get stuff done. And get on board or get out of the way.
Excellent question. Do they get taxes done this year?
Yes, they have to.
All right. Good enough. The Wall Street Journal likes to hear that because they've been talking all about it in their op-ed pages for the last week or two. All right. Sebastian Gorka, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right.